Now here's a clip of me contacting space and clearing my angles one by one. The cool part though is that from the moment someone appeared on my screen, it only took me 280 milliseconds to quickly headshot them. Just moments later, I do it again at 317 milliseconds, and again, even when the opponent is playing in an off angle and my crosshair placement is slightly off, I'm still able to land the headshot in just 283 milliseconds. The reason that this is possible is because I'm Zasko3, the mechanical coach, and I have been studying the art of perfect peaking technique for quite some time now. From the beginning, my approach to mechanics has always been creating set systems and rule sets that guide me towards consistency. Follow X, Y, and Z rules and get X, Y, and Z results. In doing so, I've designed a peaking formula that is completely optimized for speed and deadliness, and I can repeat this extremely consistently. To make my little system even better, I've further optimized it by dropping my reaction time, placing my focus on the right things, sharpening my reflexes, and breaking all the bad habits getting between me seeing the opponent and then landing the shot. In this video, I'm going to share these secrets with you. I'm never going to be able to hold an angle again. I've discussed peaking technique in the past, however, this video is going to build on that and take your peaks to the next level. Now, getting started, to not just be able to peak, but to peak and kill someone in 300 milliseconds, it's going to take 3 specific skills. You're not going to walk away from this video instantly being able to do it. What I'm going to give you is 3 areas to develop every single day that will eventually allow you to get closer and closer and faster and faster. The first thing that we're going to do is take the peaking technique that you already know and just crisp it up, get it really sharp, all right? All it takes is a little bit of fluff and mess in your actual peaks to change the dynamic of the fight completely. If you're fast enough, which we're going to discuss how to get to, you can actually keep the fight as a static scenario. And as we know, static clicking in Kovacs is a lot easier than dynamic clicking when you're clicking a moving target. What we want is to be so efficient that when we see the target is not going to have a chance to move and make the shot harder than it needs to be. The next thing that we're going to do to take our peaks to that next level is optimize where our mind and our focus is going to be when we peak into a fight. What are we actually focusing on? What should we be looking at? What should we be doing? What should we be thinking about? And then the last thing we're going to discuss is how to actually reduce our reaction time and become just deadlier, full stop. Now, bringing us back to raw technique, the first thing I need you to understand is the order of events when we peak, okay? The most common thing that I see amongst the people that I coach personally is that they oftentimes end up having the idea in their mind that they're supposed to peek out, wait until they see someone, when they see someone they stop, and then they shoot. So it's peek, see someone, stop, and then shoot. However, the first optimization we're going to make is preemptively stop. We're going to peek stop, then see someone. We're going to stop before we even know someone is going to be there. Peek stop, is someone there? Shoot. Peek stop, is someone there? Shoot. The way that I want you to view this specific situation is no different to a goalie trying to save a penalty or a tennis player trying to receive a serve, okay? What we're doing is preemptively stopping, okay? And we're going to stop, and there's probably going to be a target on our screen. However, we won't know until our reaction time kicks in. So what I want you to do is just stop preemptively and wait patiently for your reaction time to kick in. In this position, we are in a ready stance, just like the tennis player, just like the goalie, waiting to see what direction we have to launch. Are we launching to the right? Are we launching to the left? Is it a forehand or is it a backhand? Okay. If we're moving, we're not ready for a forehand or a backhand. What we're doing is we're moving, seeing a target, then stopping, getting ready, and then shooting. And the whole process is so much slower. So again, peak and then be patient and wait for your reaction time to kick in. The next part of my raw technique that you're going to notice is that my crosshair does the same thing. I don't peek and then think, oh, my crosshair should have been here, and then move it. Or like peek, oh, I should fix my crosshair. This is the next most common thing I see is people peek and then they move their crosshair. But I don't want you thinking about where your crosshair should be when you peek, because you're peeking into an angle where someone could be. You need to be ready for that, and you need to just accept where your crosshair lands. Why? Because if you move your crosshair to a better spot, maybe there's a target here, now you're moving it this way, you got to cancel your movement, go this way, and again, we're just inefficient with our mouse movements. If your crosshair placement is off, just cop it, stay ready like a tennis player, and then just launch at the target anyways. It doesn't change anything. It will be faster and more efficient for you to just cop the really bad crosshair placement and then go for the shot. Now, one thing that I've learned in my mechanical coaching journey is that words aren't enough sometimes. I could tell a student that we're not going to move our crosshair afterwards, but they just keep doing it. They just keep moving their crosshair constantly. So I came up with this really nice drill and exercise that basically gives you the feeling of a proper sharp, snappy peek. What we're going to do is walk up to an angle that we want to peek. We're now going to set up our crosshair into the correct position, right? Set it up into the wall. And then we're going to take our hand completely off the mouse. Now, all I can do is move, okay? And what we're going to do now is simply just get ourselves out there. You'll notice the crosshair doesn't move at all. And this is exactly what I want your technique to look like when you peek with your hand on the mouse. Why? Because I want there to not be any active processes going on with your mouse hand at the moment of the gunfight. I want you to be dead still with your mouse hand so that the second something does appear on your screen, you can just go straight to it and there's no extra fluff. So what this drill would look like is place your crosshair in the wall, take your hand off the mouse and peek. Hand back on the mouse, back in the wall, hand off, peek. Hand back on the mouse, set it up, take it off, peek. You'll notice here, maybe the crosshair placement is off. If you had your hand on the mouse, chances are you'd peek and then want to like fix it, right? But I don't want you to do that. Again, I just want you focusing on finding the target. Like I said earlier, step 2 is all about the mental and where we put our focus. It's going to make more sense when I explain why we wouldn't fix our crosshair. For now, just understand that this is the raw technique that I want you to develop. Now, the next most important way to optimize our technique is to make sure that we are truly committing to each and every peek and that we understand whether we're going to jiggle or whether we're going to kill someone. What I mean by that is it's extremely common for me to see people like peek and then tuck back in. And then they start jiggling and they get a bit faster, and then when they peek their angles, they're kind of peeking it like this, okay? The reason why we don't want to do this is because it's not allowing us to be the tennis player or the goalie ready for the target. Time and time again, I will see someone peek out, see a target on their screen, and then tuck back into cover and miss the opportunity, number 1. Number 2 is that they will peek out, see the target, they're automatically going back because that's the habit they've got, but then they like end up wanting to take the fight and they start shooting and it gets messy, and again, you just don't end up killing the person. And now you're stuck dry re-peeking into this person because, you know, you want to get the kill and you saw them, but you just couldn't do it the first time around. There's many types of situations where you're contacting space and slicing your angles one by one, okay? But the commonality between all of them is you're trying not to give away information. This is why it becomes counterintuitive not to commit to your peaks. If I was a KJ going for a flank and I was like jiggling every single angle that I was peeking, eventually I'm going to see someone, right? Bang. Let's say I saw someone here. Eventually I'm going to see them and I'm going to tuck back into cover, all right? I'm going to be like, I got to fight this person. Understand, by like jiggling this person, not only are we no longer going to catch them off guard if we do swing again, they're going to be ready for us, angle holding us, but they're probably just going to tuck back behind cover, drop a smoke. Someone else is going to rotate in and now they're double holding the smoke. And basically your lurk's just going to get denied and you're going to either have to rotate through the door to group with your teammates or just go back and, you know, maybe hold the flank awkwardly. Like, you lost a good opportunity. Why did you lose it? Because you weren't committing to your peaks. What could have happened is you set up peak, look for someone, set up peak, look for someone, set up peak, look for someone, kill them straight away. You've now taken this space, run out. Chuck your, you know, whatever. I don't know how you play Killjoy, but you get the point. And now we're in a completely different position. We have applied so much pressure. Now the players here are getting pinched from sight and from here. We can now take these fights. Maybe we get a kill. And now let's just pinch the CT players. The whole dynamic changes because whilst we were contacting space, we were allowing ourselves to actually gain a lot of value from our lurk. Duelist players also need to know how to contact space because you're not going to be W keying every single site. What do we want out of a duelist player contacting space? Again, to commit to every single fight, because eventually when you do get the fight, you want to end it. You want to get the kill, right? Let's say we get to this angle, we peek, we kill the person. Now we've got so much space to work with. B player's dead, we could probably dash up and we could take a timing on these players. Alternatively, if we just don't commit and we jiggle, and then they get behind cover, we're going to get smoked off, we're going to get mollied, Teo droned, they're going to spot the entire team, the whole push gets denied. And then say the enemies do smoke here and you dash out, right? You don't have the numbers advantage. They're all ready to flood. This player here is just waiting waterfall to just throw extra util. You push out, everyone's flooding in. It's just messy, okay? And the whole dynamic of the execute could be completely different if your duelist player just knew how to properly contact space with confidence. Duelist players, everyone takes pride in their confidence, but then when it comes down to contacting space, they're too scared to just peek and sit in the angle. They just need to feel like they're mobile and you know, they want to be safe. Like, nah. If you're confident, peek your angle and go for the kill. Peek your angle, go for the kill. Peek your angle, go for the kill. One last example just to explain why I truly don't believe jiggling while contacting space is a thing. You're in a clutch situation, the bomb is planted, and you need to end this fight so you can defuse the bomb. You're going for a wrap play, so you're not making any noise at all, and you're just looking to end the fight as fast as possible. So when you do peek, we're peeking with commitment. Why? Because the second we see them, we want to end the fight and defuse the bomb. If we're jiggling again and we're taking our time and we're just like, we might see them, we won't be able to get a proper shot off, they tuck behind cover, and now they're just playing time while you're trying to defuse the bomb. And you know, they're not dead because you didn't want them to be. Now, the last thing I'll say about our raw peeking technique is it also does come hand in hand with our actual map knowledge. So while we're playing our death matches, use the proper technique, but pay attention to when you kind of have off crosshair placement, and then try and correct it the next time you do, right? Try and get it as ideal as possible. The next thing I'll say is that it is well worth jumping into a custom game and learning where to pre-aim, because again, we're not fixing our crosshair placement on the fly anymore, right? Our crosshair is dead still when we peek out. I want you to know how to actually pre-aim before you take the fight. Oh, I missed it. Okay, learn from that. Pre-aim properly, okay? It's important to note that many people have said, you know, you should jiggle when you slice the pie and tuck back in and, you know, clear your angles one by one by jiggling, and maybe they're right, but I don't think they are. And the way that Valorant works is, hey, there's multiple ways to the top of the hill, okay? You guys are coming to me and my dojo, and I'm gonna teach you how to karate the way that I think karate is done best. All right, this is like the white Karate Kid school versus the black Karate Kid school in the movie, okay? Not speaking about race. Basically, if you're gonna take my advice, you have to commit to it all the way and follow my methodology. Whichever Karate Kid school won and was more oppressive and dominant and able to take control of the fight, that's the school that we are, okay? Because I'm not teaching you to be scared, I'm teaching you to attack. I'm not teaching you to be self-defense. I'm teaching you to be unprovoked offense, okay? When we play Valorant, we are the bullies. We take control of the fight and we take control of the game and we don't give them a chance to reason. Simple as that. I'm pretty sure that was the Black Karate Kid school, okay? So we're the villains here. Now, before I move on to the next area of development, some clear action steps for the previous one is that I want you to get yourself into a custom with your friends, just like I have in a lot of the clips I showed you. Get your peaks crisp, get your peaks sharp, figure out all the ins and outs through trial and error on how you can optimize your movement as much as possible for speed and efficiency. I've also got a video that I posted specifically about aim training for Valorant, and this is another action step you need to work on. I discuss reactivity and the most optimal ways to improve your ability to see a target, go straight to the target, because that's a massive part of this, but I've already spoken about it, so I don't want to repeat myself. The next area that we're going to be looking at is the mental, the brain. What are our eyes doing? What's our focal point doing? Because this is extremely important and the downfall of a lot of good potential. The brain, especially in the context of extremely focused focus, is not good at multitasking whatsoever. People talk about peaking with intention and intent, and they're on the right track with that. However, you just have to understand why exactly that is. It is possible to look at your minimap and be half IGLing the game, coming up with a play as you're lurking up onto a site, and then, you know, look back at your screen but still be thinking about the plays that you're trying to make. and then, you know, not being fully present in the peak that you're taking. So like you're checking the minimap, cool, and then you just kind of autopilot peak real quick. Even though you're looking at the screen and everything seems to be correct, your focus just isn't in the right place. You're still thinking about the minimap and you're thinking about the game. If you're optimizing this peak for deadliness and speed, you can take that moment before you peak to read the game however you want, but then when you are ready to peak, you're ready to peak now, okay? And your entire focus and mind is now on the actual peak itself. When we set up, you can put your eyes on the crosshair, and then when we peak, all right, what we're doing is scanning this new found area for targets. You're going to just quickly scan this entire area and confirm or deny if someone is there. The next peak is going to happen. Lock yourself back in, peak. We've now exposed ourselves to this area here. Your vision, your focal point should be completely focused on scanning this newfound area. And you shouldn't start the next peak until you can 100% confirm that there is not someone in this area. Set up peak, no one's in the area. Set up peak, no one's in the area. Set up peak, no one's in the area. Set up peak, someone's in the area, and you insta-kill them. It ties in hand with the goalie analogy. It ties in with the tennis player analogy. Peak and your vision is scanning, okay? You're waiting to see if the ball's going left. You're waiting to see if the ball's going right. The second your vision acquires a target, bang, shoot the target, kill the target, happy days. This is why if you peak and skip the step of scanning and then just automatically go to the next peak and you're not even checking if anyone's there, you're going to end up peeking into the angle. Someone's going to be there. You're going to go to the next one. You're realizing someone's there and you're going to need to go back. And now not only is the shot harder, but you've given the enemy time to shoot you first, even though you caught them off guard with peek's advantage. And now by the time you go to shoot them, if they've missed and you're not already dead, they're moving now and is now dynamic clicking instead of static. The fight could have literally been peek, scan, kill, but instead it was peek, get lazy, go back, miss the shot, stress, death, chaos. You've just lost 500 RR. Happy days. Based on how the world functions today, sadly, a lot of you might be thinking, wait, I've got to stay focused and not be in my head thinking about something completely different whilst I'm peaking. How am I supposed to do that? I just keep autopiloting my peaks without giving them any thought whatsoever. Brain needs to be optimized, simple as that. Dopamine, epinephrine, and all the hormones involved in focus need to just be fixed, okay? Because realistically, I'm just going to be straight up. I'm going to say it's not that hard to just keep your focus on the game and focus on a specific point. The human body is not designed to autopilot everything it does, even when it cares about it. So there's bigger problems at large here. The first one is, how stimulated are you in a day? If in between rounds you're smashing TikToks and then you end your comp session and you just take no mindfulness time, no proper rest, you're smashing Netflix, smashing YouTube, binge YouTube, nothing but Valorant, your entire day is going from one stimuli to the next, to the next, to the next. If you can't even get through a single meal without the need for a phone in front of you or some kind of entertainment, how can you expect to sit there and be present in your peaks and be intentional about your peaks when it comes to actually fighting in Valorant? I could talk for the next 5 hours about this topic, but simply put, take more pride in your brain. Get better sleep, exercise, take care of yourself, meditate if you need to really clear that mind and become better at becoming present in the moment. Learn how to focus on certain things without getting distracted. If you can't pick a point of focus on your wall somewhere and look at it for a minute or two, how can you expect to look at your crosshair when you're holding an angle? It's the same concept. Basically, take pride in your mental and cognitive performance. On the main channel, I've shown myself ripping 30-minute dot stares and people have been like, what the hell? What's the point? But again, bring it back to this. If you don't have the mental capacity to look at your crosshair for even a minute, that's concerning. And for me, I just take so much pride in it that I want to be able to sit there and hold an angle for 40 minutes straight if I need to. And I know for a fact I could with full focus. And if on the 33rd minute, someone randomly swung me, I would still have that 150, 160 millisecond reaction time ready to go. Train the mind. Give yourself challenges. Figure out what meditation is and how to do it. Learn how to do focus training. Do your focus eye training. Whatever you need to do to sharpen that mind is more important than anything else. And that's what's piloting the body trying to learn how to peak right now. Now, the final area basically is mental as well. And we talk about dropping our reaction time. And simply put, It's a lot of the exact same things. If you're getting bad sleep, you are crushing your reaction time. If you're overstimulated and cannot focus for the life of you, you're just plummeting your reaction time. If you do the opposite and actually lock in, get some meditation going and clear your mind heaps, and you're extremely focused while playing Valorant and you've developed that skill, you can get a really low reaction time. I've gotten my reaction time down to like 140 sometimes. 136, like that's bonkers. I'm not even gonna lie, I didn't even know my reaction time was that fast until now, but you get the point. What do? I get perfect sleep every single day. I eat a whole foods diet every single day with no exceptions. I focus on my mind so much, and I stay away from as much stimulation as possible. No social medias. I limit the amount of YouTube I watch down to like some really long form golf videos at max, and that's like once every few days if I actually have the time. All stimulation gone. I take so much pride in how sharp and snappy my brain is, and not only does that allow me to do what I do, but it allows me to have a much lower reaction time and kill people in 300 milliseconds. Before I started doing all these little optimizations or just living a healthy life, my reaction time was definitely around 200 to 220. I remember that consistently, like I couldn't get it any lower, and I don't know, I'm able to get it to where it is now. Before I end the video, I will say, if you need help applying any of these concepts, I am a mechanical coach and I do offer sessions where you can book in a time and we go through the motions together one by one. I'll jump into a custom game with you and we'll break down everything you need to do. Not only that, but we can talk about what areas are lacking in your aim, what areas are lacking in your gunfighting, and what you specifically need to work on, because everyone's at a different point in their mechanical journey. I love you all. I'll see you in the next video, and take care of your brains, okay? Take care of them.